And now, a very important message.
Hi, my name is James Roguski. I am the moving force behind IndependentCongress.com. Our purpose is very simple. We're fed up with the same old from the Democrat and Republican Party, and we are supporting candidates who are running for Congress, that is the House of Representatives and the Senate in 2022, so long as they are not part of either machine. If they're independent or from some of the other parties like Green, Libertarian, Constitution, or any other party, you have our support, and all we are offering is access to information about the candidacies of various people, because we know that the mainstream media is not going to help them out. We're getting support from alternative media who are interviewing candidates and getting this information out to people so that everyone can know that in 2022, when all of the districts are going to be redrawn because of the latest census, you will have more than just the two boring choices. It's not just Democrat and Republican. You will know that you have a choice to make a change that you see fit when you go to vote in 2022. So visit independentcongress.com, get involved, and contact me anytime. My name is James Roguski, and you can reach me at 310-619-3055.
Are you ready? Break it down! Yeah!
And now, a very important message.
Hi, my name is James Roguski. I am the moving force behind IndependentCongress.com. Our purpose is very simple. We're fed up with the same old from the Democrat and Republican Party, and we are supporting...
Yo, check it out, it's your boy djelf7 now. This is actually my very first episode of my new daily show for the summer, so I'm super excited to have actually a guest that I was actually quite excited about. Now, just so you know, this is Iris Seidman. I'm going to actually introduce him now right quick. He actually ran for mayor, but he was quite unique, and I'm going to tell you about his platform. I'll let him talk about it himself, because actually I think that there's probably a lot of people who have a good idea like this and try to make it happen, and we're going to hear from him firsthand. So, what was your unique platform idea again?
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me. Love being back, love the show, love what you do for politics and social justice in New York. So it's always good to be here, always here to chat with you. I think we're very like-minded for me, the question was, what was my campaign about? For me, it's the number one thing is about decentralizing power. We're in the middle of a thunderstorm here. I don't know if you can hear that, but
it's all good.
I'll project. For me, the number one issue is decentralizing power, and I think you come from a very similar background of like trying to smash the duopoly, take on corruption, like create a system that actually works, right? Like there needs to be systemic fixes. We can't just like keep, trying to talk over the other side or squabble or, so little has been done for so long that I think there really does need to be a systemic fix in government before we can even start talking about, police reform, criminal justice reform, climate change, healthcare, infrastructure, all these issues that we so commonly talk about. They presuppose that the government is not corrupt and that the government could actually implement these ideas, which it so obviously doesn't. So for me, decentralizing power is the number one solution, the number one way to bring more people into the discussion, bring more citizens into the lawmaking process. I was never espousing pure direct democracy, but something closer to a balance between representatives who can protect the interests of minorities and a more direct form of government where people actually have a say in the lawmaking process to pump the brakes on the most corrupt legislation.
You want to just continuously use referendums, and you want to truly make each decision by and for the people. Now, you take a look at a simple idea like this with real systemic change, which is what a lot of people want. Yeah, and you take a look at an idea like this, which is simple, makes sense, right? Why, so you went through the whole mayoral run process, and I was a fan. You're the first guest that I'm bringing on, right? The very first one, for my daily show in terms of like New York City politics, right? Because I think this is what most people want. Most people want, right, just common sense solutions, right? What do you think got in the way of your campaign, really, right? You, a good-looking guy, right? Solid ideas, right? Why can't you be a contender? For me, you're a contender right away from some things you're saying. It sounds smart and intelligent. What do you think got in your way?
Yeah, so I think about this every single day, and I run it back in my mind. It's like a nonstop postmortem analysis. Like, what went wrong? What should I change differently? Should I even do this again? Like, of course, the fight never stops, but like, sometimes we have to rebrand and sort of like come back in a way that will be more effective. So that's, I'm happy to, I think this is a great place for me to like flesh out some of those ideas. I'd love to hear what your guests have to say. But as far as like what went wrong, or like why didn't my ideas catch on? Why wasn't I in the debate stage? Why couldn't I like make the impact that, I wanted to when I kicked this campaign off? I think there are a lot of different reasons. Number one is that, money talks, and a big part of my campaign was like not taking campaign donations, just like go above and beyond to show that I'm not interested in the money. Like, this really was never about the money for me.
Yeah.
And like, I hit people over the head with that so hard, like on my website and just like the way that I ran the campaign. And I think it was noble, but it like really got in the way of, getting the word out. And like, not that I had like all these offers for campaign donations that I was turning down, but like, if I made more of an effort, or if like I had a team that was like more committed to that, and like we did have a larger budget, you could check my website. I think I finished this campaign spending like $600, something plus or minus there.
You're supposed to get 8 times the money back, though. You're supposed to get like, if you raise $600, you should get like $4,800.
So there are so many caveats for that, including the big one, which is like you have to raise a certain amount before they'll even start matching it.
Oh yeah. That was thousands. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, hundreds of thousands, I believe. I never even like bothered because like I knew that wasn't the route I was trying to go. But like there were some candidates who were thinking about dropping out early because like they weren't gonna meet that threshold.
Yeah.
So it's just like one more in a long list of examples. I have like documentation from the board.
So once again, we could see, right, a lot of the tools that they're supposedly out there to equalize the process, right, supposedly tools that are there to make things fair, we can see that they're often turned around and weaponized against us. This is why, right, so many people want to like, oh, I'm for this policy, oh, I'm for that policy, oh yeah, I'm a champion. No, dumbass, you know what I mean? Once the shit gets implemented, it's really hurting us. So
yeah.
now you get to see more of that and get to experience that and really see, how, right, it's not just enough to be a policy champion. Oh, he's doing for the right thing. So what? Yeah, people still suffering out there. So yeah.
Exactly. And I saw so many examples of this. I mean, the number one example is when like I first went down to the Board of Elections, like by myself. I didn't have a team, or I wasn't sending anyone. I was just like, I knew I was running for mayor. This was last December. And I was like trying to figure out exactly what needed to happen to get on the ballot, because I didn't want to like get kicked off for some stupid technicality. Like I just wanted them to like give me a checklist or like walk me through exactly what I needed to do so I had time to prepare this, that, or the other thing.
I have to give you a lot of props for the people who are watching right now. You don't know what kind of fucking barriers they make other shit so fucking complicated. The fact that Ira got through that process when he was able to successfully run as a Democratic candidate, that shit is not fucking easy. And the fact that he did alone, he really was impassioned to our network. It's fucking amazing. So, he just says it casually, but it's no fucking joke. They make you have a fucking weird ass logo and the fucking some kind of coat of arms, all kinds of and the shit doesn't appear in the books. And if you don't do it, they fucking cut your shit. Yo, it's just some weird arcane shit built specifically to prevent people like Ira from running. So you've already shown yourself able to pass that kind of a hurdle. That's way further than a lot of people who have bold ideas like yourself. They're never able to get past that. So congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
So I'm sorry. Yeah. I just want people to understand that, because you're making it seem so easy, but it really isn't. It really isn't.
When I first went down there, I had a few questions for the person at the front desk, and they were like, hey, I can't answer any questions. Nobody in the back can answer any questions. I recommend you hire an election lawyer. That's what everyone else does. And it's like, that's probably $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 alone to have like an election lawyer on staff for 6 months or a year, however long you need them for.
I beat lawyers by myself, and I'll tell you right now, the lawyer a lot of times, right, People sue their lawyers all the time for misrepresenting them, for forgetting shit, for fucking up. In the end, it's your campaign. You got to make sure that everything's fucking done. You can't be lazy and just be like, oh, I think the lawyer's going to fucking take care. Yeah, right. What happened to that lawyer's recommended by the Democrat Party who's got ties to the establishment, who's like, got contracts, hooked up deals, right? You think, right, or you're a blind, naive, dumbass walking. A lot of people are walking this. They have no idea what they're getting into. They think they're going to change the course of millions of dollars and they're just going to walk in. You got to be fucking dreaming, man, yeah? So,
yes.
Yeah.
100%.
You made it through. Yeah, what up?
So that was just like that's like when I first realized there's like almost no infrastructure in place for me, right? Like everything I had to do, I had to figure out by myself, Google searching, YouTube videos, just like how to fill out the petitions correctly so that they didn't get knocked.
And you did it on your own without a lawyer?
Correct.
You're the fucking man, bro. Holy shit. Yo, that's hundreds of pages. That shit is no joke, man. You took this shit serious. All right. Yo, I like this guy, for real, man. And even though he was... Maybe next time we record some of that work, yeah? So, I liked your branding. I thought it was I think that's exactly what we need. I think that people are just too a little bit programmed, right, by the mainstream media, right? The mainstream media never gave you a fucking chance, right? Yeah?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that was always tough. Like, just getting the word out. Like, all I wanted to do was talk to some of these other candidates and, like, have a conversation about corruption. Like, what are you guys doing about corruption? It's so obviously corrupt, right?
No, here's another thing that I think that worked against you, and it's not even your fault, yeah? The thing is that you look at, like, Paperboy Prince. I love the guy to death. He just got fucking, his vehicle just got broken into and smashed and stuff. Because the guy thinks that he's like the leader of all the black gay people. It's ridiculous, yeah? But the fact of the matter is that people look for a counterculture champion and they don't think that white people could be that. Which is also kind of fucking unfair. You know what I mean? You're a Jewish guy, whatever. I mean, you don't really play that role, but you know what I mean? In some ways, especially in New York City, right? In Hawaii, maybe even more, right? Yeah, they're just another minority. You know what I mean? So in a certain way, and it doesn't mean. Sometimes I am frustrated about this shit. Like sometimes I will say, like like the white shit. White isn't always right, but sometimes white is all right. There's no problem with it, and sometimes I think that's a barrier you have to face as well, right? So people, right? You look at Rolling Stone, who interviewed Paperboy Prince, right? Yeah, because they saw him as a counterculture champion, which in a lot of ways he is. Much love out to Paperboy Prince, but I would say, Rolling Stone, what the fuck are you doing not interviewing Ira Seidman? He was the one with the most aggressive, right, populist platform in the whole fucking game. So, where the fuck was the did anybody cover you, man? Your shit was fantastic.
I know, it's tough. So that, like, I think it's all sort of related to, like money. If they consider you a serious candidate if you've raised a certain amount, or like you have this many donors, you have this, like, anything below that threshold, they don't take you seriously as much, right? So that's part of it. I think there's also just like it is like generally unfashionable to be a white guy running in like politics these days, which I understand. Like, white people have screwed up so many things for so long, but like I think it's just that, like, white people are people and people are corruptible, you know what I mean? So throughout the course of history, white people have been the people in power, so they have been the people who got corrupted. It's not like the whiteness that made all these white people so bad, it was the power that they took, and it just like destroyed their souls and like turned their minds to mush, right? To me, it's the power. Like, that's why I wanted to decentralize my own power. That was my one campaign promise. It's like, I don't want this responsibility to be like the sole arbiter of what's right and wrong for millions and millions of New Yorkers. I want to actually decentralize whatever power I have as mayor, to like bring as many people into the fold as possible. And so no matter what the idea was, I think there's like a certain amount of resistance. First of all, I was the youngest candidate.
Another good point, yeah. The thing is that they just want to see things through their narrative perspective lens, right? By the way, you never mentioned anything to do with white people ever in all the time we met. So I have to admit, right, that's something I pushed. You know what I mean? You never mentioned that. And the thing is that, right, but the thing is that's how they see you, right? They're not listening to you. They have already preconceived notion of where they want to put you in. They stick you in that, and as a minority, I know how fucking frustrating that is, right? They took you and they said, oh, here's this guy. We think he deserves it. He fits this fucking role. We're going to stick him in this fucking role. And whatever fuck he says, we don't really fucking care, right? Yeah? We don't need to listen to him because he doesn't have the money. What the is this about money? Well, look, we're going to take time. We're going to build that. So you did a lot of, like, grass work. You were the most grassroots motherfucking candidate, like, going out to Central Park every day, trying to talk to people. But a lot of people have been, are not listening anymore. A lot of the people are also, right, tuning, right, they're so used to hearing another narrative from the TV, from the mainstream media. If you do not match that narrative, and you do not meet their expectation, it's hard for them to understand or to take you seriously because you are so different from what they've experienced, which is really, they want something different, but it's right, they've been eating that same schlock their whole lives. It's hard for them to understand the quality of what they're, so how can, or, how do you see, like, I love the way that you approach the problem. You're thinking about rebranding. You went through this whole process. What are you thinking about going next? Would you run for House of Representatives, please?
Yeah, that'd be
Fuck
awesome.
yeah, yo, independent Congress. We're actually working on the unified platform for 2022. There's some bigger YouTubers coming this weekend. That should be cool for this Saturday. We could start to have that discussion, and we could start to build. And if we could say, look, maybe this person's running with whatever, but we have a whole army of people running with a set centralized idea and a common theme. Maybe we can help you, team up with other people. Demetrius Wilson's also supposed to be there too. I think he was also at our event. There's other people going to be showing up from across the country. Yeah, Oregon. I don't know if you saw recently. I had like a interview with some guy from Oregon. We're going to pull them all in. Yeah. So I like what you said, Ira, and I want to see you float a little bit on your own and see how you, handle yourself. And certain people have to have a certain level of capability to be trusted further, and you've passed some of those tests. So, congratulations, my man. Congratulations. Okay.
Thank you so much. I think, House of Representatives, that's like, I think if I learned anything from this race, it's that, like, for me, I always knew that the odds of winning this race were very, very slim, For me, the number one goal was to push this discussion as far towards what are we doing about corruption? Because to me, every time I go to the polls and I'm presented with these options for people who are pretending like the government is not corrupt, they almost never mention it in debates. It's almost never on the website. It's like, how are you going to tell me all these solutions you're proposing as if the government is functionally working for the people right now? And to me, I just wanted to push the narrative and the discussion as far towards what are we doing about that?
This is what blows my mind about you, though, right? Yeah. When were you able to? Because you have this idea where you removed yourself from power. You created a system to truly put the people in power. So few people ever come to that realization or are willing to do that, right? Yeah. What made you willing to do that?
I just genuinely, wholeheartedly, deep down, don't think there's any other way. When I think about where this is going, I don't like to get into the doomsday stuff because you turn the TV on, that's all they talk about. It's it's enough of that. I don't need to tell your viewers and what the problems are, and when I think, I'm always trying to think about the solution, right? And the solutions always seem out of reach because the government is so warped towards the special interest and the donors and all, everything sort of just gets stopped at that first step of all the policy, at least, solutions get stopped so early because the government just functionally can't go against its donors.
Exactly. The narrative is controlled. Some of the things that I did at the end, I wish that I had really told you. I was still testing you. I still needed to learn more about you and see your resolve. And a lot of that comes out now, right? So I really appreciate you doing this interview now. So the thing, right? Because a lot of people, they lose, they give up, and they walk away. But that's really not. It's not really worth much. Yeah. It's where you are when it's tough that counts, not where you are when it's easy. Yeah. So the thing is that I was fucking super impressed, and for the House of Representatives race, I would put. Let me tell you what I did. So the thing is that all these candidates, right, went into the fucking projects, right? Because I'm in projects every fucking day, right, hanging out with different people. And the thing is that, how many of them, right? They all fucking running, but how they raised rents during COVID? How many of them fought to fucking? None of them. You know what I mean? How many of them, right? When we have this discussion about like education, they talk about bailouts. How many of them talking about like reducing the costs or this out of control situation, and the fact that Cornell Pace is buying the projects, right? Yeah, they're using the money, charging our students $15,000 to $20,000 per semester, an outrageous sum, bankrupting our youth, right? Yeah, instead of fixing that problem, they're just trying to paper it over with another bailout. It's absurd.
It's
yeah.
Band-Aid after Band-Aid.
So I contacted every single student government in New York City, and I tried to get them together on this issue. Not one of them applied. Now I'm trying to go through different National Action Network and trying to go through DSA to try to contact their student network systems. But I will work with me on these things, and that's how you can start to build the base, right? Yeah, these different community activist groups. And I see you're willing to go out and grind. You and me, baby, and the rest of us. We will build a true grassroots from the ground up. And we will be more efficient, and I will start to share more with you. I'm sorry I didn't share everything with you, but as I need to see more before I give out the goods. I give out the goods a lot, yeah. I gave out some goods, yeah, but I got to see more, yeah. So we come.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
And I think that's like what I came out of this campaign the most with. Like I found a bunch of enclaves, a bunch of people who like-minded folks who can connect me to like their networks, plug me in. And like it only grows from there, right? So
yeah,
that's possibly the biggest thing. Like to me, it's such a slam dunk. Like the idea of decentralizing power, like it so obviously benefits the vast majority of people that like we should be able to at least adopt it and agree on it to some extent. Okay. But like we're so divided and we're so disjointed, and as a populace, right? Mm-hmm. So even things that overwhelmingly benefit us, we have trouble even discussing, agreeing on, getting the facts. There's so much misinformation out there.
Absolutely. Even the finances, right? Yeah. Where do you think the money? I know you said the money for the other candidates, right, came from all kinds of things, but there's a lot of ways to hide that money. Like I know MPP, right? Like more than half of the money for their donations come in as undetermined or not explained. So there's a huge gap there, and then plus even if the company says my company wants to give you money, but I know it's going to look bad, so I'm going to have all my employees donate the max, you know what I mean? So it's harder to trace. There's all kinds of fucking games. Yeah.
PAC money is tougher to trace.
That's too, yeah. They're allowed to be shadow shit. They're fucking allowed to be shadow. But even then, they're still doing more shadow shit. Like, they could have open pack, but they can still be playing games. Even when it seems like everything's legit, like, they still playing fucking games. Yeah.
It's just so much paperwork to really, get to the bottom of this and to know which candidate's taking which money from who. Like, there's got to be serious investigative journalism done. And, there are websites, Open Secrets, and, people that are trying to, bring this to light. But your average voter, I don't think they have the time or the interest to really go down that rabbit hole and vet every single candidate. So
I think that, unfortunately, my personal belief is that we have to change the culture itself. We have to make it cool to be involved. We have to make it more interesting. And so that means that I would try to make you a cool guy. I'm trying to be a cool guy. You know what I mean? I'm trying to really, and the thing is that, corporate is always kind of rehashing old fucking trends. We saw they fuck up with Yang, right? I was telling them for the longest, yeah? Just playing the same old tune. Meanwhile, right, it's always the people that are non-corporate that are pushing into new realms, new visions, new ideas that capture the youth and the ideas. It happens in music all the time, yeah? We can do it too.
100%. I think that's a lot of my ideas were politically based. I'm trying to fix a lot of these issues that are manifesting from the policy and legal and law side of things, but there are a lot of economic shifts that need to be made. They're corporations. Corporations can make shifts in their practices. People can stop working for certain corporations. We can boycott certain products. There's so many economic decisions we can make, and then you were saying, social decisions too, just the way we treat people, the way we interact, what we choose to respect.
Yeah.
you know, those are major shifts that need to happen as well, and like they all sort of need to happen in tandem for like serious change.
I would recommend getting involved with both the Eric Adams and the Curtis Sliwa campaigns, both of them, right? Serve them honestly while you're with them, you know what I mean? But learn what they're accessing, learn their strategies and techniques, and implement those for your House of Representatives run. You know, they're going to be the most motivated right now to do what you're doing, right? What you want to do in the future, right? So patch in. Yeah, patch in and get all this shit, you know what I mean? Join the Justice Democrats, like learn everything, you know what I mean? That's what I'm doing, you know what I mean? And I will use all those skills and tools later on to help my friends. What's up, friends? Yeah, we friends?
Yeah,
That's
100%.
cool. I'm friends with everybody. That's the truth, yeah? As long as we have something we can work on in common.
I love it. DJ Alf, I have 4% on my battery. I'm just going to plug in
All right, cool.
Second.
Well, this is going to be, I only have like an hour for the show. No, I will have a 2-hour show yet today. It's going to be live, but I'll just play this. I'll just play this back. So other people might be thinking about doing what you're doing, right? Yeah. How, what do you have for words for people who might like have like a similar idea to yourself, right? Other activists, mostly for activists or people who also thought about running for mayor. What you think that it was? You think it was? How realistic is it, do you think, for someone to win mayor?
It's really, really difficult.
Okay.
I think,
how worthy of it do you think is in terms of like, you know, you said like you're building a skill set because you're in this for the long term. So like, you know, as in terms of like you know, I'm doing what I'm doing separately. I'm not running for mayor. There's certain reasons why I don't think I should ever or can ever run for office. But you know, how I mean, do you think it was worth your time running for mayor, like just to like learn like the process and to go through the whole thing?
Yeah. So for me personally, it was like something I needed to do, just like almost like in my DNA. Like it was just my destiny to like go for it, and it was beyond just like personal growth and like an experiment. Like I needed to see like how people would respond, like test my own ideas, build my own political ideology. Like
you're an incredibly valuable asset to me. You're very unique in the fact that you're one of very few individuals who has actually tried to run for mayor and successfully done all the paperwork. If someone else wanted to actually do this successfully to the point where you got to actually getting on the ballot, they could either just try to figure out themselves, or they could maybe, you know, watch my channel and find you and say, you know what, maybe this guy. And also just going through the process like prepared you in other ways just to know that certain things can happen. Other people, right, when I talked about like the coat of arms and stuff like that, right, you nod your head, right? Yeah, you know about some of those weird ass things. Other people might never even think about it. It might never even occur to them, right? So when you go through the process for House of Representatives, you'll be like, what's this? What's that? You know, you'll be looking for places where other people just will get caught with their pants down. Embarrassingly so. Good job, by the way, man. Yeah? Good job, man. Yeah, I like that. All right.
I think, you know, like if anyone wants to do it, you should like run for any office, run for district leader, run for governor. Like if you have an idea worth running on, if you have like an actual vision, that's like my number one issue with candidate. Well, I have a lot of issues with like the candidates that I've been presented with. So I don't know if this is my number one issue, but it really is like a critical point of failure when our executives don't have a vision for like their city, their state, their country. You know, like Joe Biden, I think he was necessary in the sense that like we had to get Trump out, and you know he was pretty much the only viable option in 2020. Like given that he won the Democratic primary, I think there would have been better people to win that primary, but I'll put that in the parking lot. You know, like I don't know what his vision for the United States is, right? And if he doesn't have a vision, and like so many of the executives, the governors and the mayors, if so many of them don't have visions either, they're just cogs in the wheel and sort of shifting with the political donors. Like somebody needs to steer this ship, right? And the ship is so obviously not being steered. We can't just all go about our day to day doing our jobs. I'll put out the dishes. You are cleaning the like tablecloths and somebody else is scrubbing the floor. Like we can't just all be on the ship working, but like nobody's steering. And you know, like if you have an idea to steer the ship a little bit better, then yeah, go for it. Why not? Like, you have to sort of define success for yourself. If winning is the only form of success, then like could be an uphill battle. But like speak out. Like being complacent is never the answer.
Okay, so the thing is, right? That's actually I do believe that we need an overall increase in involvement from the people, right, for this to work. Now, some people might say, well, you need a division of labor, right? Allows people to specialize in a certain topic, and certain people just might know about, like, maybe military operations or finances, right? I'm not a bookkeeper, right? Yeah, I can't. The budget, right? I hear the word budget, I'm already running the other direction. So how are you going to, like, encourage, right, them? Unfortunately, they start to just, then what they do is they say, I don't have time. And they look for other people who they could trust, who they feel like they could trust to give them the information. Sometimes the people are pretty people, right? Yeah. And then you have like these pundits on TV, right? Yeah. Paid because they might have like a voice, like what's that guy named Larry from whatever from NBC? He has that long voice and it sounds so official and like goddamn, like fucking like every fucking drop out of my word out of my mouth is fucking facts. You're like, okay. Lester Holt, that guy. That guy has this voice for real, right? Yeah.
Beautiful voice.
Yes.
Phenomenal.
So, like, but the thing is that he's not covering the issues. He's not covering you, right? Yeah. He's not being fair about it, right? Not. Lester, I don't know who's paying you and stuff, man, but you're not fucking doing your job. You need to cover all the fucking candidates, number one. Yeah. And you need to not, maybe I'm a little bit confrontational, you know what I mean? Fuck it. Until I get justice, you know what I mean? Like, that's just how I'm gonna fucking be. Sorry, that's me.
I do. No, and I love, like, there needs to be that sort of like unapologetic pushing, because like the state of our city and like society.
And now, a very important message.
Hi, my name is James Roguski. I am the moving force behind IndependentCongress.com. Our purpose is very simple. We're fed up with the same old from the Democrat and Republican Party, and we are supporting candidates who are running for Congress, that is the House of Representatives and the Senate in 2022, so long as they are not part of either machine. If they're independent or from some of the other parties like Green, Libertarian, Constitution, or any other party, you have our support, and all we are offering is access to information about the candidacies of various people, because we know that the mainstream media is not going to help them out. We're getting support from alternative media who are interviewing candidates and getting this information out to people so that everyone can know that in 2022, when all of the districts are going to be redrawn because of the latest census, you will have more than just the two boring choices. It's not just Democrat and Republican. You will know that you have a choice to make a change that you see fit when you go to vote in 2022. So visit independentcongress.com, get involved, and contact me anytime. My name is James Roguski, and you can reach me at 310-619-3055.
Are you ready? Break it down. Yeah.
And now, a very important message.
Hi, my name is James Roguski. I am the moving force behind IndependentCongress.com. Our purpose is very simple. We're fed up with the same old from the Democrat and Republican Party, and we are supporting candidates who are running for Congress, that is the House of Representatives and the Senate in 2022, so long as they are not part of either machine. If they're independent or from some of the other parties like Green, Libertarian, Constitution, or any other party, you have our support, and all we are offering is access to information about the candidacies of various people, because we know that the mainstream media is not going to help them out. We're getting support from alternative media who are interviewing candidates and getting this information out to people so that everyone can know that in 2022, when all of the districts are going to be redrawn because of the latest census, you will have more than just the two boring choices. It's not just Democrat and Republican. You will know that you have a choice to make a change that you see fit when you go to vote in 2022. So visit independentcongress.com, get involved, and contact me anytime. My name is James Roguski, and you can reach me at 310-619-3055.
Are you ready? Break it down.
Involved and contact me anytime. My name is James Roguski, and you can reach me at 310-619-3055.
And now, a very important message.